our assembly this morning, so totally forgot about that. Okay, so let's do this arc length one. Okay, so if you remember back up here, it's just S equals theta R, theta's in radians. So our first step is to convert to radians. Okay, we'll put it right there. Okay, so that's pretty easy, pi over 180. Now, in this case, we don't have to worry about having it as a pi value for radians. It can just be a decimal because you're just using a formula. So we want to get it to degrees, or sorry, to radians. So this is 100 degrees, and this will be our x. So we've got 180 degrees x equals pi times 100 degrees. So we're just simply going to divide 180 degrees on both sides. Okay, so this is going to give us our value in radians. Now we can do radians as a decimal because we're going to use the formula to find the nearest tenth anyway. So we're going to go pi times 100 divided by 180. So pi, 3.14 times 100 divided by 180. So that's 1.75. So I'm going to keep an extra significant figure till the end. Radians. Okay, and then we're going to find, we have the arc length. So we know that our formula is this. So we're going to plug in our arc length at 10.8. We're going to plug in our radians at 1.75. And we're going to look for R. So we're going to divide out on both sides. Okay, so 10.8 divided by 1.75. And then we round to the nearest tenth. 6.17, so 6.2 meters. There's our radius. Okay, again, it comes from the first hand in. Many of you, if not all of you, did well on that question as well. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, we'll maybe do one more here, maybe two more. Okay, so our next thing that comes up sorry, I got to get to the right spot here again. Okay, so the next thing is unit circle question. So again, it comes from the first hand in. I'm doing things chronologically, if you noticed that. So in the order that we went through them in the class is kind of the order that the quiz is going to be in. It's not going to be jumbled up or anything like that. Okay, so question number 3 is going to be checking to see if a point, to solving for a missing point on the unit circle, a y or an x. So in question 3, you're going to solve for a x point or y point on the unit circle. Okay. And that's going to be worth 2 again. Okay, so for example, let's say that, let's go negative 3/8 comma y is on the unit circle. Solve for y if it isn't, let's say it's if it is in the second quadrant. Okay, quad 2 is where y is positive. So we're going to just find a positive y. Remember that you'll get a positive and a negative, and then You'll get that. Okay, so in this one, pretty straightforward. We're going to use the x squared plus y squared equals 1. Okay, so how does that look? Let's use a little bit different color today. Okay, so x squared plus y squared equals 1. And we're going to solve for y. Okay, and y is going to be positive, so x squared is negative 3/8 squared plus y squared equals 1. Now we're going to do it in exact value form. Technically, you could do decimals, but it might not give you an exact value. I'm going to do it the way that they usually would like you to do it. Would I mark it wrong if you did it in decimals? No, I wouldn't. Unless it said use exact values, which on the quiz it doesn't, I don't think. So this is 9 over 64. Remember that negative 3 times negative 3 is still 9. Okay? So all we have to do is change this 1 to 64 over 64 so that we could do some fraction subtraction. Okay, so we're going to subtract 9 over 64 from this side. Okay, so that's going to be 64 minus 9 is 55 over 64. So there's our answer as a square. So now we square root it. So 55 doesn't have an even square root, so we'll just leave it as root 55. And 64 has an even root, 8. There's our answer. It has to be positive to be in the second quadrant. There we go. Okay, that's worth 2. Okay, we'll do one more here. I got 5 minutes or so. Just summarize the fourth question, and then that'll be everything that comes off the first hand in. Okay, so the first 4 questions come off the first hand in. Okay, I'm going to flip ahead here. Hopefully I'm not going too fast. Okay, and the last one that comes off the first hand in is I give you a point on the unit circle and you have to find all 6 trig ratios. So you're given a point on the unit circle. And once you do that, you find the 6 trig ratios. Okay, so that's kind of going to be worth, what is that one worth? 3. It might be right off the unit circle chart, so it's super easy. It might not quite be off the unit circle chart. Right? Let's say it was off the unit circle chart. Let's say the point that I give you is 1/2 comma I don't know, I gotta find my unit circles thing here. Hold on. Let me grab mine. It's right over here. There it is. So let's use the one of those ones. Let's say 1/2 and negative root 3 over 2. And negative root 3 over 2. I have to put a root on there. Oop. So let me do that. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Okay. So this is going to be root here. Not negatives out front. Okay, so that means this is x, this is y, r equals 1. So sine theta, that's pretty easy. That's just y, which equals negative root 3 over 2. Then we have cosecant theta, that's 1 over y. So that's going to equal 2 over negative 3, root 3. Okay, then you have to rationalize it. So that's going to be 2 root 3 over negative 3. Okay, then you do cosine theta, that's x. That equals 1/2. And then secant theta equals 1 over x, which equals 2, because you just flip it over, 1 over 1/2. And then tangent theta equals y over x, so we got to do a little bit of work there. So negative root 3 over 2 divided by 1/2 equals negative root 3. Cotan, it's x over y, or if you just flip this over, it's 1 over negative root 3. Rationalize it, and you have root 3 over negative 3. Okay, simple like that. And the one on the exam, it's going to be one that comes off of the unit circle. So it'll be as easy as looking up sine and cosine. And the rest you have to do a little bit of calculating. Okay, I'm going to stop there. We'll do this continuation tomorrow. Of course, if there's any questions about the hand-in, maybe I'll spend a little bit of time tomorrow asking that. Yeah, so do we. I have one that's 9:50. That's their end of their class. It's 9:50. So, all right, we're done for today. We will finish this review outline tomorrow, and then if there's any questions about the assignment that people are still working on, they can ask me. And of course, we'll pick a day for our happy hour. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Can you just flip back to the last page for a minute? Just the bottom.
That one?
Oh, okay. Just forgot to square.
No worries.